Live with gratitude.
Welcome to the Network Marketing Made Simple podcast. I am your host, Scott Aaron, and each and every week, I'm going to come to you with short, simple, and powerful tactics of how you can grow your network marketing business, brand, bank account, and impact on those around you. And just remember, network marketing is not easy, but it can be made easy with simple steps to create the success that you truly deserve. Welcome to episode 98 of the Network Marketing Made Simple podcast. And if you are a new listener, then welcome. And if you are a returning listener, then welcome back. And as always, if you are a new or seasoned network marketer that is still growing their business through the means of Facebook and Instagram, and you do not yet know the power of LinkedIn and how it could help your business, your network, and your bank account, then head over to my website, www.scottaaron.net. Fill out the form to schedule a free 15-minute discovery call with me so I can learn more about you, what you're seeking to improve, and how we could potentially work together. So I've just been very blessed because I've really been able to surround myself with incredible people. And the interview that I'm going to be doing today on this episode, I'm really excited for because I love empowerment stories. I love stories of belief and faith and trusting yourself. And this person that I'm bringing on to the podcast today is going to really inspire and motivate all of you guys to move that needle forward. So as always, I don't want to tell their story. I want them to tell it to you. So Cayla Craft, welcome to today's episode.
Hi, Scott. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Absolutely. So for the listeners that are not familiar with Cayla and what she does, who is Cayla and how did you get your start in network marketing and what are you working on right now?
Yeah. Okay. So I found myself at 23 years old. I was working as an ER nurse and I looked around at all these nurses that were older than me and they were all miserable and unhappy. And I thought, okay, do I want my life to look like that 10 years from today? And the answer was no. And so I knew something had to change in my life. And I ended up getting a job at like a community college as an instructor. And I thought that was the change I was making. And randomly at a park one day, my friend brings up a cleanse. And I was like, oh my gosh, I want to try it. And I tried it. I fell in love with it. Then I found out there was 2 words attached to the cleanse. And those 2 words were financial freedom. And I was like, okay, tell me more about how I can have financial freedom, and the rest is basically history. I had dabbled in network marketing when I was 18. And so it wasn't like news to me that people were making money in network marketing, but this was finally the right vehicle for me. And 1 month later, I went to a company event and I met the founder of the company and he just was an amazing down-to-earth guy and really poured belief into me. And I was like, okay, this is the company I want to be a part of. And I went home from that event and told everybody around me, I'm going to be a millionaire in this company. They all laughed at me because if you knew my background, you would go, how in the heck is that going to happen? I grew up in a small town in the Central Valley of California. And, I was raised by a single mom. I was, I guess you could say I was raised in the hood because I was. And, it was very low income, poverty stricken area. And I didn't know anybody that had financial freedom. So for me to say something like that, it was a big deal, right? And everybody laughed at me. And 3 years later, I become a millionaire in my company. And I mean, that's my story. And it's changed my entire life. I've been able to move out of that city, move to my dream location in Newport Beach, California. I have 3 little kids and a husband, and I feel like I'm just getting started. We started a new company called Multi-Millionaire, where we're all about helping women become financially abundant in whatever vehicle they choose. So if it's not network marketing, it could be something else. We have financial advisors, we have hairstylists, we have so many people that are part of Multi-Millionaire, and it makes me so excited.
So talk about this really quick, that, your motivator was becoming financially free.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people have a stigma about wanting to be wealthy and to create wealth and have abundance. You know, you came from a very modest upbringing. You know, you didn't have all those things that people kind of dream about having, or you did not grow up with things being given to you. You had to work for everything that you created.
Mm-hmm.
So talk about the mindset, because there's a lot of people that listen to this that have that fear and that scarcity mindset. How appropriate and how okay is it for someone to want to create financial freedom and wealth for themselves?
You know, every single person on this earth deserves financial abundance. And I mean, that's why I created Mommy Millionaires, because I truly 100% believe that. The problem is that most people don't believe that they deserve it, right? And so I'm all about teaching people, hey, once you decide and you become 100% certain that your life is going to look a different way, the universe conspires to make it happen for you. I mean, it is true, true, true. And, you know, I like to always tell people, like, look at your story, look how far you've overcome, look at all the things that you've made happen in your life, even if they're small things. Most people have manifested great things in their life and they didn't even notice it. And I remember being 8 years old and I broke my arm. And my mom was looking at me, I was crying, and I looked up at her and I said, Mom, don't take me to the ER. And she's like, why? I said, I know we don't have health insurance. I know we can't afford it. I'll be okay.
Mm.
And, you know, being a dad and now me being a mom, that's devastating as a parent.
Oh my
To
God,
know
yeah.
that your kid is living with that kind of, like, no kid should know that at 8 years old. And I remember looking at my mom's eyes and just seeing a look of shame. Like, she was devastated. And that was the moment I decided I'm never going to look at my kids the way that my mom just looked at me. And I'm going to help moms never have to look at their kids like that. And that was a defining moment in my life when I was 8 years old. And, you know, I remember visualizing myself as a lawyer working for single moms to get child support. Like, I would think about all these things. You know, I would daydream and have this amazing imagination and have power, you know, and have money. I used to think about all those things because, to me, when my mom and my stepdad would fight, they were both alcoholics. It was always about money. So to me, in my head as a child, I always rationalized money solves problems. So I always wanted money. And, you know, when I started working as a network marketer, I was already making 6 figures as a nurse. So I was already well off compared to where I came from.
Yeah.
You know? And so I thought I had made it, but I hadn't even reached the peak of what I was capable of. But the reason why I share that story is just like, you got to visualize whatever you want in your life. And because when I was 23 years old, I went around and told everybody I was going to be a millionaire. And that's exactly what happened, because I went around and I manifested it. I dreamed about it. I daydreamed about it. Instead of, like, you know, our imagination can do so many great things for us. It can, you know, bring amazing things into our life. Or if you let your imagination run wild about all the reasons why you can't do it, or your past mistakes, or all the, you know, stories that you've heard of other people that have had failures, if you let your imagination run wild in that direction, you're always going to see failure. But if you let it run wild, thinking about all the crazy things that you could accomplish if you became successful, if you had financial freedom, then you start to see these things come true in your life. And, you know, one instance, I'll tell you a story. When I was 23 and decided I was going to become a millionaire, I told everybody around me, you know what, I just want to be 40 and retired and be on a yacht with all my friends. Okay. I was 23 years old at the time. Now I'm 32. Well, just about a month and a half ago, I was in Monaco, which is, like, you know, the second smallest country in the world. And I was on a yacht looking out at the French Riviera. It was beautiful with all my friends. And I had forgotten I said that when I was 23, honestly. And my husband brought it up to me. He's like, remember you used to say that? I was like, oh my gosh. And here, look, it just happened, you know, way quicker than I thought it would. I said 40, I was 32. So, I mean, it's very powerful when you decide and declare that you want something over your life. And, you know, I decided at 8 years old that I wasn't going to live the life that my mom lived. And I went and just put my imagination to good use every single day.
You know, you said something interesting, and it's deciding. And here's the thing, Cayla, it doesn't matter if it's network marketing or like you said, it's whatever your passion project is. If you don't commit to what you want to achieve, if you don't decide that, okay, I'm going to do this, it's never going to happen, because that leads to action.
Mm-hmm.
And, you hear about it all the time. Action is the cure all for feeling stuck. And things don't happen overnight. It's an everyday process in entrepreneurship. There's ups and downs every single day. People may, outside looking in, they may see what we're all doing and, oh my God, they're living the best life possible. But behind closed doors, we go through stuff just like everyone else, just on a different level, or it just may look and feel differently. So, with that, with your passion project now with Mommy Millionaire, but also your network marketing experience, what was the biggest obstacle that you had to overcome when you made that transition of, being an ER nurse to wanting to be a millionaire in network marketing and beyond?
I honestly think the hardest thing was at 23 years old, I really cared about what people thought about me.
Hmm.
And, it was deciding, okay, is their opinion going to ever pay my bills? And the answer was no. Right.
Wow.
And I just decided to practice limited association with the people that didn't believe in me. And now I'm at a much different place in my life where it's like, you could not believe in me all day, but I have so much belief in myself that doesn't matter. But it takes time. You have to build up that muscle. And so I always tell people, if you're just getting started and you're hanging out with a bunch of people that are naysayers that don't believe in you, you've got to get right before you can let them back in your life. And also, another thing I realized along the way was that, God dropped that dream into me to, be a millionaire, to have financial freedom, to impact millions of women worldwide. Not everybody wants that. But I knew as soon as I heard those words, financial freedom, I wanted all of it. And that's how I knew it was for me. The dream was for me. And so when the dream is given to you, it's for you and you alone to carry out. And you have to be your biggest cheerleader. You have to be your biggest fangirl. You have to lift yourself up every single day, even when it's hard, because it's so rewarding. Honestly, when you hit the milestones that you've set for yourself, there is nothing more rewarding knowing that you got yourself there. And it's seriously the best feeling ever. I don't know about you, Scott, but I love that feeling.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's empowering. But I want to go back to something you said, because I've never heard it before put like this: limited association. So talk about that for, because you and I, we're involved in a mastermind together, and we know the importance of surrounding yourself with the right people. So talk about what limited association is, and how your circle of influence will either help you or hurt you.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people have probably heard this advice. You become the sum of the 5 people you hang out with. Well, there's a reason why you keep hearing that advice. It's because it's actually true, right? So if I were to stay at 23 years old as an ER nurse, and I continued to hang out with other ER nurses that always complained about their job, always complained about not having enough money, you know what? I would probably have stayed the same way. And I had to get out of that. I knew I couldn't get away from them at work. I had to continue hanging out with them at work. But I knew when I was off work, what was I going to do? I was going to hang out with people that were making $1 million a year. Because guess what? I got to start thinking like that millionaire if I want to become a millionaire. And I didn't know anybody that was a millionaire. Okay. So I listened to podcasts. I read books like Secrets of a Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. That's a classic. Mm-hmm. And I know people have that excuse. Well, I don't know anybody that's a millionaire. Well, hello. It's never been easier to have access to a millionaire in this day and age. Okay.
True.
So, get in their mind and see how they think. And what I saw was really millionaires and billionaires. They're so definitive about their life. They just know, they have a clear vision, and they talk with certainty about what is happening, and that's what I knew I needed to change. Because it wasn't a question of if, it was just when. Like when this happened for me, when I have financial freedom, I started to speak differently. I started to think differently, and everything started to change. So the limited association is like, if you're hanging out with a bunch of people that make $60,000 a year, guess what? You're probably the 5th person that makes $60,000 a year. Right. And so if you're hanging out with a bunch of millionaires, guess what? You're eventually going to become a millionaire because you got to shape up to stay in that group. Because I know me, I don't like to hang out with people like for a long period of time that don't make as much money as me, because their thoughts will start to crowd my mind. I'll start to find myself saying, "Oh, I can't afford that." I'm like, "What? Who? What? Who? What?" You don't talk like that, Cayla. But if you hang out with them, you start to become like them. It is what it is. It's like that in grade school, right? And so you really just got to call, okay, those are the dream stealers and these are the dream givers. Who am I going to hang out with?
Yeah, I mean, you're the sum of the 5 people that you most closely spend time with. And, you typically make within 10% of what they all make. So if you're hanging out with people that aren't living financially free, that have negative self-talk, that gossip and, are full of negativity, then basically that's going to drip on you. And we have the choice of who we want to be dripped on by. Do you want to be dripped on by millionaires and billionaires? Or do you want to be dripped on people that are just getting by in life? And no one deserves to just get by in life. And I don't think it's a bad thing at all to decide who you want to spend time with. And again, that doesn't mean you have to like disown all of your friends. You just have to dedicate the right amount of time to the right people with what's going to push you forward. So,
actually, and let me tell you something on that, because I think people do think that they have to get rid of all their friends.
Right.
And my best friend is still one of my closest friends back before I got started in network marketing.
And that's
and now she's my very best friend, and nothing's changed for her. She still has a job, but I don't talk to her every single day. That's what I'm talking about. Limited association.
No, it's, I'm still friends with my buddies that I went to kindergarten with. We've been friends for, 30 plus years, and we don't talk all the time. We get together, once, twice a month for dinner and catch up, but it's not all my time. And I think that's what people need to understand. We're not sitting here telling you, if your friends are broke, disown them and never talk to them again. It's making sure that you're spending the right time and getting the right advice from the right people. That's what it's all about.
Right.
So you've helped a lot of people. You have a large organization in network marketing, and you have now a new large organization with the Multi-Millionaire, project and the mastermind and the podcast and everything that you're doing. And you're helping a lot of people. Is there a common theme that you are hearing from people that you assist in why they're not achieving certain things? Is there, is it fear-based? Is it limited thoughts? Is it fear of judgment? What is a reoccurring theme that you keep hearing from people, whether it's in network marketing or entrepreneurship as a whole?
Gosh, yeah. You know what? I think it always comes back to the self-belief. People are scared of being who they are, in fear of being abandoned by the ones that they love. And, this can easily be changed when you decide to love yourself. Because when you honor and love yourself unconditionally, all those other things don't matter. Like, you know what I mean? I love this thing that I can't remember who says it, but it's, I love you so much, I don't care what you think. And that's been something I always say. Anytime somebody gives me an opinion that I'm like, it doesn't sit right with me. Your opinion doesn't pay my bills again. Right. But I love you so much, I don't care what you say. So it's honoring that person. I love you so much. But if I cared about what you said, if I would have cared that my husband thought I was a crazy person when I started network marketing, he was so mean to me. And he honestly, he will talk about this. We talk about this on my podcast all the time. He was so mean to me, made it so hard for me to build the network marketing business. If I would have cared what he said, guess what? 75,000 people wouldn't be affected right now in my company. Multi-Millionaire wouldn't have been birthed. We wouldn't have helped 24 millionaires be created in the last year. There's a lot of things that wouldn't have happened, right? And so I love you so much that I have to be true to me. I have to not care what you say. Because eventually it's going to help your life, right? Now, Chase is happy. He always says this, I'm so happy you didn't listen to me. And I'm like, yeah, because I knew it was going to make our life better, right? And so that's the kind of love that you have to give out to people and that you have to give to yourself.
Self-love is one of the most important loves, because if you can't love you, how are you going to love anyone else? And just to piggyback off of what you said, Les Brown says it all the time. He says the thoughts and opinions of others does not have to become who you are. And it's the truth. People will, I say all the time, 50% of the people you will meet will like you, and 50% of the people you'll meet will not. And it's so easy to focus on the negative people, because as human beings, we just want to be loved and liked by everybody, right? But I always say to people, don't focus on the ones that don't love you. Meet those people where they are. Honor the fact that they see or don't see something in you, and focus on the people that do love, honor, and appreciate what you're doing, where you're going, and what you're going to achieve, because those are the people that you want to surround yourself with. Those are the ones that you want to pay attention to.
You know what my new saying is you don't have to love me in order for me to change your life. Okay. And the reason why I say that, it's so powerful, because anytime you don't like another person, this is just in reality, right? Anytime you don't like another person, it's because you don't like in them what you're unwilling to accept about yourself. So, like when I see somebody being weak, I hate weakness. I hate it. Okay. It's a trigger for me. If I see somebody being weak, it triggers me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I want to judge that person and not like them so hard. Right. Then I'm like, it's a mirror. Okay. What is this teaching me about myself? And I was, okay, yeah, it's because I don't like weakness, but I have to admit that there's still many parts of me that are very weak. And so instead of judging that person and going, I don't like that person, I just go, you know what? I love that person. I love that person. And I send love to them. I don't have to hang out with that person, but I send love to them. And another thing that somebody told me a long time ago, when I was first dealing with criticism, being on social media, it was a couple years ago, she goes, hey, anybody that is doing anything in this world that's having a major impact on this world is not universally liked. You think about Obama, you think about Donald Trump, whether you love him or hate him, right? Like a lot of people love him, and like most of the world hates him, but he is impacting the world. And so you just have to know that, like, when you're putting yourself out there on a platform and you're deciding to be who you truly are, which means sharing opinions and living in your truth, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to have problems with it, because it's going to bug them that they can't do that with themselves.
It's a business coach of mine said that when someone doesn't like you, there's something they see in you that they wish they had in themselves. And the easiest thing for people to do is to try to, make you feel bad about that, because we all have that same power and we all have that same light inside of us. It's basically stepping into your power and putting yourself out there and not being afraid to take those arrows and the shots and the people poking fun and this, that, or the other. You basically build that armor up every single day where you're unstoppable.
Mm-hmm.
So for the new network marketer or the new entrepreneur that's listening to this, what's the best piece of advice you can give them with something that you learned very early on that still helps you today, years later?
Well, sorry. I think one of my mentors told me, she said, Cayla, just give me 2 to 5 years and you'll have financial freedom. And I think there's a lot of hype out there right now about how you can, get that financial freedom quickly. And because I went into it with the mindset, it was like, you know what, if it takes me 10 years, I'll be happy, right? Because I'm still going to be further along than what I would do if I was just staying the same. So think about that it's not overnight. It's never overnight. Everything that's worth having takes time. And I think knowing that and just being patient, but also doing as much as you can in the process to make it happen now. Does that make sense?
It does.
I feel like too many people are a little too patient. Like, oh, I'll just see what happens, but you got to make sure you're actually doing the work and deciding and declaring, okay, it's going to happen for me. This is going to happen in my life, and build up momentum in your life. But know that, like, listen, like, everything wasn't built in a day.
I always say to people, if you're doing network marketing or you're doing entrepreneurship and you want to get rich quick, it's much easier for you to go to the local mini mart and get some scratch offs, because you'll have a better opportunity of hitting it big that way. Network marketing, entrepreneurship, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. And the analogy I give is that you can put Usain Bolt, who's arguably one of the greatest sprinters of all time, you can put him in any marathon race in the world and he will lose every single time, because he was built for speed. He was not built for distance and longevity. And, the one thing that I live by, that I stress to people, is that there are millions of ways of how to succeed, and there's only one way to fail, and that's to quit. If you don't quit, you are guaranteed to succeed. At some point, you just have to be patient long enough to create that success.
I love that.
So before we jump off today, I love ending with this question because there's no wrong answer, but I love hearing what this means to each person because, you've had your ups and downs, you have humble beginnings, and you're creating an extraordinary life for yourself now and your kids, and just, it's a beautiful thing to see. So where you're sitting right now and the journey that you've been on, what does success mean to Cayla?
Well, success means to me that I don't ever have to say no because of money. So if I ever want to do anything, it's always going to be because I want to do it. Or, like I hate that right now where I'm at in my life, like there's a lot of things I want to do. There's a lot of things I want to invest in, and I still have to go, okay, it's not right now. And so I still think I haven't reached the level of success that I want because I have bigger dreams and bigger goals.
I love that. The one thing that I know is that there is no pinnacle. There is no top of the mountain, because if you set that kind of goal for yourself, you get to the top and you're going to be disappointed. So you always want to be reaching and climbing every single day, and just know that there is no top, there is no peak, there is no pinnacle. You're always reaching to become better, because the best teachers are also the best students. You're always learning and you're always growing. So Cayla, thank you so much for being here today. Before we sign off, how can people find out more about Cayla Craft, the Mommy Millionaire Project, and where would you like them to connect with you?
Yeah, so over on mommymillionaire.co, I have a couple free resources that I love to tell people about. One is a branding questionnaire, and then the other one is a free ebook that I talk about all about how to get more customers to say yes to you by being yourself, which is a little bit what we talked about, Scott. So if people want to head over there and get that free resource, that would be awesome. I'd love to help them in that way. And you can find me hanging out on Cayla.craft on Instagram. It's Cayla.craft.
Awesome. Cayla, thank you so much for your time, your love, your energy, and just everything that you've brought to this episode, but also everything that you bring to those around you every single day, including me. So thank you for your time today.
Yay. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please enjoy the rest of your day, and I will talk to you next time. Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you again so much for checking out this week's episode. And if you can, head over to iTunes, search for Network Marketing Made Simple, leave me a 5-star rating, basic review. I would be grateful for all of the support you guys can give me. And again, if you'd be interested in learning more how to utilize LinkedIn to grow your business, your brand, and your bank account, head over to my website, www.scottaaron.net. Fill out the form for your free 15-minute discovery call so I can learn more about you, your business, and how we can work together. And again, thank you guys so much. Grateful for you all, and I'll see you next time.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.